For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. Memories of dragons. The earliest mentions of dragons appear in the myths of the ancient Sumerians. They describe them as incredible creatures, unlike any known animal, yet composed of parts from different beasts. According to ancient Akkadian legends, dragons had the paws of a dog, the head of a lion, and the wings of a bird. The image of the dragon is present in almost every myth about the creation of the world. It also appears in Bulgarian folklore, in the form of the zmei or lamia. Interestingly, ancient people did not see the dragon merely as an exotic monster. They often imbued it with deep philosophical meaning. Sacred religious texts identify the dragon with the primordial force of the earth, the original chaos, which frequently battles the Creator. In these cosmic struggles, deities or forces representing order and balance emerge victorious. They often use the dragon's body to create the world, and he cut its insides and pierced its heart. And from one half he made the heavenly firmament, and from the other half, the earthly one. In every ancient culture, poets sang of this titanic battle. In the Babylonian tale Enuma Elish, the god Marduk fights the goddess Tiamat, who personifies the primordial ocean. In Vedic Indian mythology, the god Indra defeats the dragon Vritra, and the Semitic god Baal triumphs over Yam, the ruler of the primal sea. Dragons in these myths embody primordial forces that existed even before the gods themselves. Dragons appear on military emblems of both the Parthians and Romans. The dragon is the national symbol of Wales and adorned the prows of Viking ships. For the Romans, the dragon was the emblem of the cohort, an infantry unit of about 480 soldiers. From here comes the later term dragoon, a cavalryman armed with a carbine who could also fight on foot. Among the Celts, the dragon symbolized supreme power. It was also the imperial emblem of the Chinese emperor. His face was praised as the face of the dragon, and his throne called the dragon throne. Buddhist mythology is filled with dragon stories, and Taoist legends speak of their deeds. These fantastic creatures are often depicted as winged snakes, combining both upper bird wings and lower seva serpent body worlds. In Chinese mythology, dragons represent the male element yang, in contrast to the phoenix, which embodies the female yin. While the dragon symbolizes the emperor, the phoenix stands for the empress. In medieval alchemy, the primordial substance, or world matter, was symbolized by a dragon biting its own tail, known as the Ouroboros. This image was often accompanied by the inscription, "All is one, and one is in all." During the Middle Ages, dragons were drawn using various parts from different animals. Like the Sphinx, the dragon symbolized the unity of the four natural elements: earth, air, water, and fire. One of the most enduring mythological motifs is the battle with the dragon. The hero, through courage, defeats the monster, seizes its treasure, or rescues a captive princess. This narrative serves as a metaphor for the dual nature of humanity, the inner conflict between light and darkness. The dragon represents unconscious forces that can be harnessed for both creation and destruction. The battle with the dragon symbolizes the trials a person must overcome to attain the treasures of inner knowledge, to conquer one's primitive, dark nature, and to achieve self-mastery. The labors of Hercules, Perseus freeing Andromeda, Jason fighting the dragon, the Norse hero Sigurd slaying Fafnir, and St. George's battle with the dragon are just a few examples. Paolo Uccello, 1450, The Battle of St. George and the Dragon. London National Gallery. Each of these battles is a kind of guide on how a person should confront their fears and their own dark side of the Force. To use the popular Star Wars metaphor, although the dragon, like the Egyptian god Set, causes pain, it ultimately leads the individual towards self-knowledge. Dragons were symbols of mighty deities who give life. Quetzalcoatl, the god of the morning star, Atum, the god of eternity, Serapis, the god of wisdom. This symbol is eternal, just as the ever-evolving world is eternal, protected by the ring of the Ouroboros, tracking the dragon in Bulgarian tales and songs. Where did the storytellers of Bulgarian folk tales get the idea for the lamia and the zmi? Were these mythical creatures metaphors for social phenomena like slavery and oppression, symbols for natural forces, or did people actually have some kind of massive beast in mind? The word dragon comes from the Greek drakon, meaning large serpent. Dragons are described as huge, serpent-like, fire-breathing creatures with wings. In Bulgarian folklore, the word zmi likely derives from zimia, a snakelet. The names Lamia and Hala also have Greek origins. Lamia, devour, and Cha-la or Cha-lazi, hail. These were likely considered separate from the zmi and represented natural disasters. In prehistoric times, mythical beings were often used to explain natural phenomena. When early humans couldn't comprehend the scale of natural forces, they personified them as gods or imagined them as enormous creatures. Around the world, myths contain gods who embody forces of nature: the sun, wind, storms, winter, etc. In some mythologies, these deities don't have human forms, but appear as animals, supporting the idea that dragons might be metaphorical creations of vivid human imagination. But if dragons are only metaphors, why are they so consistently described in ways resembling actual creatures? Dragons or dinosaurs? How could different cultures across the world independently imagine such similar giant beings with overlapping characteristics? Dragons appear in the mythologies of Egyptians, Indians, Sumerians, Babylonians, Aztecs, Aboriginal Australians, Chinese, Japanese, Hebrews, Scandinavians, Greeks, Slavs, and others. When a single tale is isolated, it might be dismissed as fiction. But when the same motif recurs globally, it surely contains a kernel of truth. Even today, many in Asia believe dragons exist. Chinese legends speak of flying beings who lived thousands of years ago. In Chinese mythology, dragons are protectors of magic and masters of the four elements: earth, air, fire, water. They symbolize wisdom, nobility, and virtue. In India, there is the tale of the thousand-headed serpent, Shesha, who carries the god Vishnu on his back. Another hypothesis is that dragons were technological constructs, flying vehicles or war machines. This would explain the fire. If so, this truth is no less fascinating. Where did they come from? An advanced earthly civilization, or from space? A final theory connects these giant reptiles with an alien race, reptilian in appearance. Many conspiracy theories speak of reptilians, and various religious sects worship a serpentine or dragon-like being, often called Set. In the semi-mythical kingdom of Kush, people worshipped a winged serpent. In other regions, a feathered serpent was revered. The greatest god of the ancient Maya, Kukulkan, was also serpent-like. Myths from Egypt, Chaldea, and Mesoamerica tell of dragons arriving on Earth through mysterious gateways that connect our planet to other celestial worlds. Ancient Chinese texts describe dragons coming from strange places beyond the heavens. In many legends, dragons are carriers of knowledge. The statue of the Greek god Asclepius, holding a cup with a sacred snake coiled around it, also symbolizes this. These motifs suggest continuity between civilizations, perhaps linked to an alien race. In that case, dragon could refer both to flying craft and to the reptilian beings themselves. History is filled with unexplained questions. How were the pyramids built? What's the purpose of the Nazca lines? Maybe dragons hold a clue. Back to Bulgarian folklore. In Bulgarian tales and songs, the Zmi is the guardian of mountains, caves, or springs. The Lamia or Hala represent calamities. They steal fruit, destroy crops. In response, heroes and warriors rise up. Bulgarians venerate Saint George the Dragon Slayer. Similar imagery is seen at the Madara Rider Monument. Other dragon slayers include Saint Theodore Tyron, Saint Marina, Saint Michael the Warrior, Saint Joachim of Osegovo, and Archangel Michael. In many tales, the Zmi abducts maidens or demands them as tribute. Why virgins? Perhaps this represents enslavement. But why would such a mighty being live in mountains instead of a palace or distant land? This suggests a being close to the heavens, a god or extraterrestrial. If it lives in a cave, it may represent a demon or a treasure guardian. Sometimes the Zmi marries the maiden. Even in Asian legends, there are stories of humans marrying dragons. This could symbolize peace through union with a powerful outsider, whether a ruler, nation, or species. The variety of interpretations in these stories makes it impossible to reach a single answer. Zmi Ognian in Bulgarian folklore, or Zmi Goryanin in Russian tales, is linked with fire, lightning setting trees ablaze, the sun, or erupting volcanoes. His height and wings may symbolize his celestial origin. The motif of the Zmi guarding springs may stem from traditions where the Zmi is seen as a cloud descending from the mountain, dwelling in lakes, wells, and springs, controlling rain and floods. Perhaps people saw a dragon-like shape in the clouds. Why then does the image of the Zmi always point upward, toward the sky or a hidden passage, scholars often dismiss myths and legends as fantasy. But before writing existed, knowledge was passed down through stories. Storytellers were the scientists and historians of their time. And clearly, similar knowledge was passed down all over the world. Coincidence? Some suggest people invented dragons after discovering dinosaur bones. Maybe, but if dragons were imagined based on fossils, how could ancient people know what they looked like on the outside, when we can only reconstruct that today with modern technology? And yet across cultures, dragon depictions are strikingly similar, as if people had actually seen them. Could this imply direct encounters? Then why don't we find dragon skeletons, even though they would have lived much more recently than dinosaurs? Because not all bones fossilize. If they did, the earth would be buried in bones. Or maybe the dragons were destroyed, burned, even. Each hypothesis eventually leads to new mysteries, and the search for truth continues.